Hello, and welcome to Chandler in Focus. I'm Councilmember René Lopez, and today we are continuing our focus on the preservation of classical music. My guests today are Pam Hahn, the Executive Director, and Jack Harriman, the Music Director and Conductor for the Chandler Symphony Orchestra. Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
First, let's talk a little bit about your background. Pam, let's start with you.
Well, I grew up on the East Coast and in the Philadelphia area, and have been a harpist and a musician since, well, an early age, let's say. I'm celebrating my 50th year as a harpist this year. I went to a college at Oberlin where I received a Bachelor of Music in harp performance. And I moved to Arizona in 1996 and almost immediately joined the Chandler Symphony. And I've been playing with them ever since. And I have been on the board of directors since 2011. And in 2013, I became the president. And I have just stopped being president this summer.
Yes, Jack?
Well, I started conducting when I was 7 years old. I was in elementary school, string class, and we had about 3 or 4 months of study, and the teacher asked who would like to lead the class. Well, nobody put up their hand except me, and I've been doing it ever since. So then I went on through high school, studied violin, mainly violin. Then I went to the Northwestern University following the Navy. But the Navy was a fantastic experience with great musicians, absolutely great musicians, all trying to stay out of the Army, so they joined the Navy. So I was in the Navy, and I conducted a Navy orchestra in Washington, D.C. for, about a year and a half. Then I went to Seattle to be on a television program and went to promote the armed forces. And there again, we met some marvelous musicians then. After that, I went to Northwestern University, got my master's degree there. Was with the Fort Wayne Philharmonic, social conductor, Indianapolis Symphony. I played violin there. Came back to Kansas City, where I'm from. I was born and raised there. Was with the Kansas City Philharmonic as a social conductor. And I took over the orchestra when my music director, Hans Figger, left the orchestra. From there, then I came out here. And I've been out here now for 25 years.
Great.
And I'm enjoying it very much.
Well, I'm so happy you both chose to come out to work with Chandler.
Thank you.
So Pam, you mentioned you're no longer the president.
Yes.
Congratulations on being promoted to the executive director of the Chandler Symphony Orchestra.
Thank you.
How has your role changed now?
Well, I've just had the job since July 1st, so it's a work in progress. The main difference between what I'm doing now and what I did before is that I'm no longer in charge of the board of directors. So I've got a wonderful president that's stepped up to be the president of the board now, Bill Pernhagen, and I think he's going to do a great job, and we're going to be a good team to move the orchestra forward. My job is mainly going to shift toward more fundraising opportunities and event planning and just more of an operational nature.
Okay. And we'll be talking events later.
Yes.
Jack, you mind sharing a little bit of the history of the Chandler Symphony Orchestra with us?
Yes, we started actually in 1989 when we were at the Chandler College at MCC. And we were there for just about 1 year with the orchestra, and then we had to leave there because the funds ran out. We then collected everybody and went down to Chandler. We rehearsed at Anderson Junior High School, and from there on we went into churches, other schools, and began to build the orchestra. And we ended up with a wonderful series, a wonderful orchestra, and we're looking forward to the upcoming season.
And how many musicians make up the orchestra? And what kind of instruments do they play?
Well, we have probably about 85 to 95, sometimes even longer, many more, depending on the piece we're doing. We have, of course, you know the string section, violins, viola, cello, and bass. And then, of course, our woodwinds, flute, oboe, clarinet, bassoon, French horns for the brass, the trumpets, trombones, and tuba, and plenty of percussion, piano and harp, and that's it.
Thank you. And the musicians volunteer their time, I understand, right?
Oh, yes.
So, Pam, do they have to go through auditions in order to get on the orchestra?
New musicians do, yes. Depending on how many openings we have, we get all kinds of contact during the summer. Jack is busy. In fact, he was just hearing some more people last night. The
Yes.
people who are existing musicians who've been in the orchestra before do not have to re-audition. We just hope that they'll continue to come back. Yes.
So, over this last season, what would you say was the most memorable performance from this last season, Pam?
Well, I guess I would have to say from this last season, my biggest thrill was being able to play a concerto with the orchestra in the November concert. I played the first movement of the Mozart Flute and Harp Concerto with the really fine flutist Katrina King. So that was really a thrill for me.
Okay. And Jack, how about yours?
I would say Symphony No. 5 by Tchaikovsky was our high point of the season. It was really wonderful.
Thank you. So at this point, we're going to watch a video of one of the Chandler Symphony Orchestra's performances. an amazing performance. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So my understanding, Pam, is that we now have the spring concert dates.
Yes.
You mind letting us know what the attendees can expect?
I don't mind at all. Our first concert of the second part of our season is on Sunday, January 29th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon at the Chandler Center. And the title of that concert is To Jupiter and Beyond. And that one is going to feature two of the movements of Holst's The Planets, which are just Mars and Jupiter, the two big ones. And also Leanne Contessa, our concertmaster, is going to be soloing with the orchestra on Tchaikovsky's Meditation for violin and orchestra. The next concert is going to be Sunday, March 26th at 3 o'clock. That one's called Spring Serenade because we'll be in spring by then. That will be featuring Rika's Scene for English Horn and Orchestra with Mark Goldstick, the orchestra's second oboe and English horn player, and that's going to be a wonderful performance. And that will also feature the absolutely gorgeous Tchaikovsky's Serenade for Strings. And people who don't think they know what that is will know what it is when they hear it. And then the final concert of the classic series will be on Sunday, May 7th at 3 o'clock, called Light of Heart. And we'll be featuring Hong Mei Jiao as viola soloists for the William Walton
Viola
yes,
Concerto.
Viola Concerto.
Yeah.
She is on the faculty of the U of A, so that's going to be a wonderful performance. We're also going to be performing Stravinsky's Petrushka, which is a difficult piece and quite interesting, quite exciting, and we're still trying to find some
We're looking for dancers.
Yes.
And we are in contact with some dancers.
Dancers,
It was
okay.
Trying to determine whether they want to do it or not.
It was originally written as a ballet,
Yeah,
so
it's a
if
ballet.
we can get some ballerinas on the stage with us, then that will
Interesting.
really be an interesting performance.
Wow.
We'll have two more chamber series concerts in the spring, and the first one of those is on Saturday, February 18th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's going to be a chamber orchestra concert, and Jack and our associate conductor, Alex Zhang, will be conducting that one.
Yeah.
And then on April 22nd, also at 2 o'clock, that's a Saturday, will be the final one. That'll be another musician's choice concert, which is going to be a combination of all different ensembles. And both of those concerts are at Sun Lakes United Methodist Church.
So Jack, how do you go about selecting the music pieces for each season?
Well, I have a large repertoire in my past experience. I've been involved with 9 different orchestras, so I know the music quite well. Then I try to anticipate who we have in the coming season. I mean, after all, we do lose people and we gain people. So I try to sit down with my assistants and we go over the music. We even listen to some CDs, and then we select music that we're going to do, and we try to do as much of a variety as possible, not just one style all year. So it's quite a process, and we hope that we come out each year doing the right thing.
And regarding the music, are people able to donate music to the Chandler Symphony Orchestra?
Yes, sure. We accept all offerings when it comes to music, because music is very expensive, especially if you're going to purchase it or rent it. Very, very high. So we are eager to accept any music that is offered us.
Okay, thank you. For those of you just joining us in Chandler in Focus, I am Councilmember René Lopez, and we're speaking with Pam Hahn and Jack Harriman from the Chandler Symphony Orchestra. So, continuing with that, the concerts are free, so anyone can come.
Yep.
But you do ask for some donations, and you also do receive donations from some corporations and companies. What do those donation dollars get used for? Jack?
Oh, listen, they're used for salaries for conductors, executive director, manager of the orchestra, librarian, and most important, purchasing music, renting music. And that seems to be our big item as far as purchasing music. I mean, that is a year-round thing. They're looking for music, find out what we can get. And even some of the rental music, sometimes we have to wait for that because other orchestras are renting the same music from, say, Boozy and Hawks. So we have to wait our turn. Even as long as 1 year, we have to wait.
Wow.
So it's a process that goes on year-round, 12 months a year, And we're right now working on for not only next season, but the season after that.
A lot of planning.
Yes.
So. And Pam, you had mentioned too some of the youth programs that the Chandler Symphony Orchestra runs. Could you describe some of those programs?
As I was talking about before, we have our annual competition, which is open to any music students between the ages of, or the grades of 7 to 12. And they can be kids that are in the public schools, they can be in private schools, they can be taking their curriculum on the computer sitting at home if they want to. We've had some of those kids, and they're wonderful musicians.
And so not restricted to just Chandler Unified School District.
It's not.
It's open.
Yeah, and we get kids from really all over the valley. In fact, we've had a harpist that came up from Tucson to compete one year. So that's people find out about it, and they want to be able to participate, because the prize is the first prize winner gets to play with the orchestra. And for some of those students, especially the younger ones, they haven't done that yet. And so it's a great opportunity for them. There's also a cash prize for the first 3 winners too. So it's worth it to put the effort into competing. We also have an open rehearsal program for students. So at the last rehearsal before each concert, which is our dress rehearsal, we invite students to come as long as they're accompanied by adults, and they can be any age, but it's really a neat experience for students, especially music students, to be able to see what a professional group looks like in an orchestra rehearsal setting, and how that works, and maybe it's not quite so different from their rehearsals at school. We also have found that having concerts with no cost for admission is a great opportunity for kids to come and bring their sheets in to have us sign off on the fact that they have attended a classical music concert. And we get quite a few kids that come through the door with a clipboard in their hands, and they find somebody during intermission and have us sign to verify that they were there, and then they take it back to school and get credit. So we're happy to provide that for local kids. Yeah.
And you mentioned also some other volunteer and sponsorship programs that the Chandler Symphony Orchestra has.
Yeah.
How would somebody become involved in that if they wanted to?
Our website has a link that people can click on, which will send an email to somebody. If they would like to volunteer to do something, we'll give them a list of things that we need help with. And we always need volunteers, and we love our volunteers. Our whole organization is about that. We don't pay our musicians. We have a volunteer board of directors, and most of the work that gets done is by volunteers. And sponsorships, obviously we always want sponsorships, and we don't care how little or how big they are. Individuals are able to sponsor individual musicians in the orchestra, which is a thrill for both the sponsor and for the musician. The musicians feel loved when somebody gives money in their name, and the sponsors enjoy it because they get their names printed in the program next to their sponsored musician. So that's always a good thing. And we're happy to have individuals, corporations, whoever, donate to sponsor whole concerts, concert series. We have no limits.
Yeah, I've always said that volunteers are a force multiplier for any organization.
Absolutely.
But money does, make the car go down the road, and it gives you options.
It does.
Right?
Yes.
So, and we briefly kind of mentioned that there are some events coming up with the 25th anniversary of the Chandler Symphony Orchestra. Can you share any preliminary plans for the 25th celebration?
Yes, and we are getting close to that, and that's going to be next season. That's going to be 2017-18. So we're getting really close to it. So we're starting to heat up with some of our plans. We're planning to have special music at each concert. Where, as Jack said, they're already planning for next year, which is unusual for us. We usually kind of plan right at the last minute. But we're already working on next season, because there are going to be things that we're looking to do, like commissioned pieces of work. We're going to ask for some local composers to compose a piece just for the orchestra, just for this celebration. So they'll be world premiere pieces. No one will have ever heard them before, which is exciting. And we're looking to have some special guest artists that will perform with the orchestra, and each concert is going to have a special thing about it, just to make our season very memorable. We want to involve the community in this celebration too. We want them to be part of it, because the Chandler Symphony exists for the community, and we want everybody to feel like they have had a part in this party. We're also we're planning on a gala event that we're going to have in February of 2018. And that's going to be a dress up fancy affair where we're going to have black tie optional and dinner and dancing, and it'll be a really, really festive thing. So
Great.
we've got lots of plans going.
Lots of fun.
Yeah.
And lots of busy.
Yeah, that too.
Good. And hence why we need the volunteers and also some of the support.
Absolutely,
This
yes.
is great.
Yes.
With only a few minutes left, is there anything else you'd like to add, Jack?
Well, for our gala, we are planning to do the Symphony Number 9 of Beethoven, the Great Chorale Symphony, and we're working on that right now. I don't want to give out too much information yet until everything is finalized, but this is going to be a tremendous thing for this orchestra.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
Yes.
Yes.
Anytime.
Big concert. You're right. Yeah.
Pam, anything else you'd like to add?
The only thing I'd just add is to come to a concert. Everybody needs to experience this at least once. If you don't know anything about classical music, this is the best way to find out because you don't have to drive far and you don't have to pay any money.
And it's all local.
That's right.
This is
That's
great.
right. Yes.
Well, thank you very much for coming. That concludes our show. Thank you for watching Chandler in Focus. I'm Councilmember René Lopez, and we'll see you next time on Chandler in Focus.